This is a message for your guides reading for The Little Mermaid. Okay, I have 4 crystals here. One of them I'm pretty sure is a group stone, and I think the others are for your reading, but this is the first one, so after a few I'll know for sure. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to start by surrounding us in some sacred space with my Lapis Lazuli. Okay, so I've got a female guide coming up, and she almost feels like a primary guide, but she's not a primary guide. So this guide is working with you for your psychic abilities and mediumship, things like that. And the fact that she's almost feeling like a primary guide, but she has this specific category, that shows that this is obviously something really important kind of in your spiritual journey, but also with your physical self and what you're going to be doing, your psychic abilities and being in tune with them. This is definitely important for your path. There's a feeling almost even like career in some way, which makes sense if she's coming in that strongly, where she's feeling like a primary guide. That means you're definitely going to be using your gifts really significantly in your lifetime, or at least at certain points. Okay, so my Lapis Lazuli, this is a throat chakra and a third eye stone. So communication and also psychic abilities, mental focus, meditation. So then I have my sodalite. This is the group stone that I was mentioning. I think so anyway. So this is also a throat chakra stone. It has a lot to do with speaking your truth, communication, divine communication, speaking your truth, setting boundaries, healing as well. And then I have my zoazite. So this is really about trusting the universe. Also, it feels like being open. It feels like to abundance, being open to abundance to flow in. This isn't only a financial thing. This also feels like, it just kind of feels like miracles in general. But it also feels like realizing that you aren't stuck, that you're never stuck in any way, that you're never in a spot where you can't move forward. Because it feels almost like sometimes we're in this place where we feel confined. It feels like there are certain things that we have to do. How do I put that energy? Okay, I'm going to give a for instance, and this exact for instance doesn't necessarily apply to you, maybe. But let's say that it could be you're a student, for instance. Or I'll say like, okay, let's say you're a person who has a specific job and they're making this specific income, and that's what they feel like they need to be doing right now, is they need to be doing this specific job. And maybe they even really like their job and what they're doing right now. They don't feel to move out of it, okay? Or even in the same scenario, but like you are a student, right? It can be different things. You're studying, you enjoy what you're studying, maybe you don't really have time to really do something else and make more money or something like this, but it still feels like be open to possibilities and scenarios that can be fulfilling but can still actually provide more for you. So sometimes it's like you can be in a situation where in some ways you feel really fulfilled, and in a sense, or just like you're supposed to be doing what you're doing right now, and so for whatever reason you just don't really feel to move out of that exact situation or that part of your path and what you're doing right then. But at the same time, it's almost like it takes up a lot of your time, and it's like some other things in some ways can't be fulfilled. Or at least that's the way that it feels. And again, it's like you don't exactly want to move totally out of that because you still enjoy what you're doing, or at least you really feel like you are meant to be doing what you're doing right then. But it feels like you can be fulfilled, you just need to be open to it. So it's about being open to abundance in all areas and still doing what you're doing the things that you need to be doing or that you love doing or both. And just really that you resonate with doing right now, that you feel to be doing right now. Okay, so then I have my rose quartz here. This is the last crystal that I pulled, so this is my rose quartz. So this is all about the heart, and right now it also feels like following your heart. Following your heart, listening to your guides, again, being open to other possibilities. And just mainly, I think the message here is just not being stuck. And allowing more pathways or more avenues to open up at once. So in other words, you can be doing multiple things at the same time. Even if you're doing one main thing, there can still be other things that are working for you, other things that are flowing on the side at the same time. And this doesn't, again, it is about abundance, but this isn't only about finances. I don't really feel like they have much else to say, and I have a couple of minutes left, or I have 1 minute left anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of clearing here. Okay, so I'm going to use my Lapis Lazuli again. Okay, so it's coming to the crown chakra right away. So the crown chakra is spinning pretty well, but there's still this kind of block in the energy a little bit where you kind of keep it from spinning sometimes, at least to the full potential that it would, it feels like. And this just feels like a doubt. It feels like you doubt your abilities a bit. It feels sometimes like you're picking up on a guide and you don't realize that you're picking up on a guide, or you don't know if you are. But it also feels like a lot of times you are and you don't really realize that you are. Some of this, oddly enough, some of this even feels like going over into like the category even of like physical age and the fact that you're young. So there's also, even for that reason, this kind of doubt in yourself, like maybe you haven't had enough life experience. But that's really all point of view, because yes, you can learn more as you progress through your lifetime. You can also really choose not to. You can choose to go backwards the older that you get. So the more forward you move with age, the more backwards at the same time you can move in terms of wisdom and wise choices, and just in general learning. Learning karmic lessons, you can get more stuck in them versus learning how to get out of them more. So one of the lessons here is learning not to doubt yourself. That doesn't mean that you get everything perfect all the time, but fears can also keep us from moving forward and progressing, because they can close us off. They can close us off to allowing something in. So sometimes you have to just kind of go for things and go for ideas that you have, and kind of, it feels like respect yourself enough to do that and to go against doubt. And maybe you won't always get it right. But there's always that chance that you do, that you have gotten it right, and then you move forward. So you really don't want to close off to that spark. You don't want to close off to that opportunity that's there. And it feels like just in so many ways in general, you can really learn to not doubt yourself, to trust yourself, even in the way of setting boundaries. Make sure that you trust yourself, because this can end up going into other areas. It can end up allowing other people to really give too much feedback, or take their advice more than your intuition would really tell you to do or give you a feeling to do. So you need to really always make sure that you're listening to yourself, to your own judgment, even if it is telling you to listen to someone else or to somebody else's advice, because obviously other people can know things as well. Sometimes we do come across somebody else on our path, obviously, to help guide us for whatever reason. Okay, so that is the end of this reading. That's all that your guides have to say for now. So thank you so much for another one, and I hope that it benefits you. Namaste.